Welcome back. Some South Africans are having a burden of taking care of their dependents and looking after themselves. However, they are pushed to the lonely corner because of not having anyone to depend on. And when they are alone, life can be intimidating and limiting, but life experiences become better when they tap into one another. So today we look at the challenge of coping with dependence and caring for oneself. And to talk about this, we are joined by Nontokozo Madonsela at Momentum Metropolitan to expatiate on this subject. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Colin, for having me on your show.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the challenges that many people have with having to take care of oneself and family when we have so much of a burden regarding our legacy problems. Say we come from economically disadvantaged backgrounds, and in this scenario of now that you are working, you need to develop yourself, but you also have to remember those who are at home.
Yeah, so thank you for that introduction. As you know, like you said, I think with even COVID, feeling alone and being overwhelmed by the responsibilities that we are all facing has become a lot more exacerbated. But, you know, I work for Metropolitan, and at Metropolitan, our payoff line is together we can. So when one is having to deal with all of these expectations and responsibilities, it's important that we realize that we don't have to deal with this on our own. We have a network that is there to support us. And also through this campaign, we recognize that the success and the goals that are achieved by individuals are often influenced by the company that one keeps. So we've got financial advisors to help to influence our financial decisions, but we've also got structures if one is struggling, for example, with issues of mental health, if one is struggling with how to pivot your business or how to change your career, there are mentors and coaches who are there for that. And I find personally that even talking to my mom at home and talking to my family helps me to gain strength and to not feel overwhelmed and depleted if I were to be without the support.
Yeah, but it is understandable that you can speak to a friend or a family member about personal issues regarding the challenges that one have. But there's a thin line here. If you're going to speak to somebody about your finances and the very difficult trading conditions that we are under now, is that now you get to disclose your problems to people that you don't know if you should trust or not. Whether they're family or not, nowadays it's dangerous to even talk to anybody about your bank balance. Some people have been retrenched. They've got huge payouts from their companies, but that money is not enough to last one for a lifetime. And as you know, people are very instantaneous. They live for now, so that little 100,000 rand that you have, they don't care. As long as they can get through to you to finish it off, they will be gone. So why must I depend on other people?
Yeah, so I think you're right. One must apply wisdom. You've got to apply wisdom in terms of who your people of influence are, which is why we've kind of got a tagline that says, together we can, but it doesn't remove the responsibility of having caution around the level of involvement that you invite from your circle. We've got people who are trained to offer guidance with regards to specific matters. But I also think that I know that I've got friends I can absolutely trust. But importantly, I think when I reach out and I speak about money to people who are trained to help me understand how to use my money, how to budget better, and how to even stretch the little that I've got, it is of more value than talking to anybody because obviously of the risks that you've just unpacked. I also think that when one says, my people are my everything, which is our tagline for the campaign, it is people who've been that careful in terms of how they guide you, but also really looking to help you be the best of yourself versus take advantage. I mean, I've got mentors and coaches who want to see me succeed, but I equally have sisters and brothers who want to help me succeed. Not every family has that structure. So let's kind of find support through outside of home structures. And like I said, there are people who are trained like financial advisors, and those are the people which we can absolutely trust.
So now there are psychological coping mechanisms of dealing with pressure and stress when it comes to this burden of taking care of your loved ones. And you know, this notion of black tax, it's really burdensome to people where they would like to see their family succeed, but they also want to succeed. But you will find that taking care of other people in your family is also a deterrent and a hindrance for your progress personally. And it will affect your self-esteem that, you know, I can't do this because I have to do that. So how does then one stay afloat and have that confidence level when they're progressing with the process of developing themselves?
Yeah, we all have loved ones we have to support. And it's that whole thing of when you've reached, especially in our cultures and families like yours and mine, you've got to kind of throw a hand and pull up the people that are in your family structure. We talk about being clear on your budget, which helps so that you know that the essentials that are there for you, the person first, are covered. And I think also just having long-term plans. For me, I find my family and I play a stokvel, Colin. Every month when it's one's birthday, whether it is 100 Rand or 200 Rand, at least there is a sense that we as a collective are helping each other. But I also think in terms of helping your family succeed, the support you give doesn't have to be financial. The support you give can be in the form of saying, hey, you're looking for a job, let me help you with your CV. Let me connect you to people that are in my network that could kind of tell you when the first opportunities are available. Online, we spend time on Facebook, we're spending time on YouTube, we're spending time on LinkedIn. That's an extension of the collective. So I'm finding that with my family, certainly, it isn't that I've got to give financial support only in terms of the tax and the burden almost of sharing the success that I've come to, but very much up around the points of connecting, sharing the network, pointing out opportunities, helping to frame the CVs, helping my family even prepare for interviews is me helping as part of their collective.
Mm-hmm. You know, you just drew my attention on one interesting aspect. Those who have to share in your success. You know, there are times when your, shall I say, relatives and friends now start borrowing money from you and not paying it back. And they find you not to be supportive when you say no. So then how do you deal with issues of desperation and the discretion of whether or not to help when those people are your dependents?
Yeah, that I haven't figured that out. Listen, when you figure that out, you must WhatsApp me the answer. But jokes aside, I really think that every family has its own dynamics. I have a thing that I do, you know, when somebody in my family asks for 1,000 Rand, I offer 500 Rand because often, sometimes even the amount of money that is required can be, you know, can have some fat or buffer in it. But like I said, you know, for me, I find really being pragmatic about issues that the family as a collective ought to prioritize. Because you know what, like even me as a mom, I have to help my kids first. And I think that as a society, we've got to understand that there are moments in time where individuals and families must kind of detach the level of expectation we have on each other. I also find, Colin, that just being transparent and sincere in your response, people will know that when you can help, you will support. But when there are other priorities that are perhaps getting in the way of the support, you aren't able to support to the extent or in the way they require. Again, the essence of Together We Can is that whether it is financial or psychological or spiritual, we are a part of a collective. And if I can't give you money, I am able to support you in other ways. And for me, when I say like my family is my everything and my sisters and brothers are my everything, my parents are my everything, it is because they gave me support not only in financial ways as part of my collective.
All right. Thank you so much for making time to speak to us. I would send you a WhatsApp for the answer based on the question I asked you, but I don't have data. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.